All right, this is Atlas's 11th session, and I'm just desensitizing him to the stick or whip. I find to use a training stick a little bit easier at first because they can target the end of it like he did the end of my crop. So there's something, it's like harder, so there's something there for him to touch. With a lunge whip, that can be a little harder. Here I'm just moving my arm around. So he was really spooky and jumpy today. It's cold, obviously. So I was just kind of moving my arm around while he was eating, and you could see the reaction that happened because of that. He's not super sure about this whip there. So I just touched him on the side of the face. I'm going to click him and throw the food in his bowl, and you can't really see the bowl because it's behind this top rung of my round pen. So I just wanted him to kind of, there, he got used to it and move forward, so I'm going to click him for that. So anytime he shows like a positive behavior to like a scary stimulus, I'm going to reward that. So he was worried about, I think this started when I was just moving my hand while he was eating, and he was really scared. So now I'm just like, okay, well, I'm going to desensitize you to it, so it's not a big deal. It's not the end of the world. So that's why I'm doing here. There, he was good with it, so I'll click and feed. And he was even spooking right there at the food falling into his bowl. Just a spooky day for him. But I don't want to sneak around him. I want to make a lot of movement and some noise and move around and make sure that he's okay with all those things. It's just part of being horse. So move that for a while. He seemed okay. He didn't leave, so I'll click him and feed him. Yeah, that's what I wanted, to just move my hand right there. The video sped up while he's eating, but that's exactly what I wanted, was him to stay in the bowl. Good. Touch him with his nose, and I'll feed him. I don't usually have the feed and the scoop in my hand. Not sure why I had it like that day. But I usually have it in a pack, but you can do it either way. It's just easier in the pack because then you can move around and stuff. Now he's worried about it. Like, remember, we just touched it. Good. Touch him on the neck. I'll click him for it while it's on his neck, and then I'll feed him. And I've done like one other session with him doing this. The footage just wasn't really good. It was kind of far away, but I'm doing the same exact thing. So I'll ask him again, and he's turned his head away, and then he's jumping. He's a little worried about it. Oh, scary. Not a big deal. I'm just going to kind of move it around over here because I don't want to be sneaking up, because I don't want to like shove it in his face and like kind of bring it over like a predator. I'm just going to be like, okay, it's moving. So I moved it there, and he was looking at it, so that's why I've stopped. I'll let him set for a second, and then I'll start again. Like, it's not a big deal. Can you touch it again? Because just kind of moving it, it's like, okay, it's right here. I'm not trying to be sneaky. I'm not trying to be a predator. I'm just trying to show you the stick. There, he looks at it, so I'll click him and I'll feed him. So he's showing me that he's not quite okay with the touching it. And here I left it close to his bowl on purpose so he can kind of eat near it. Like, it's not that scary. It's okay. I don't want to sneak around him. I want him to be like, this is okay. I want to move it like that so he's not super worried about it. Good. You can see his ears moving around. He's not super sure. But he's staying this time. He hasn't run off, so that's great. So I'll click him and feed him. And he's so afraid of the sound that the grain was making on his bowl that day. Just kind of move my hand around. Just kind of desensitize him today. And he's also, at this time, not being worked super regularly, so he hadn't been worked with this stick in a while. That's a lot better. But you can tell the progression just over the last, like, minute, where he was running away at first and spooky, and now he's like, okay, not a big deal. But yeah, if he can't touch it, then I'll just back up a step for him looking at it. So right there, he looked at it again, so I'll click him and feed him. I just want to back up a step. Like, okay, if you can't touch it, that's fine. Can you look at it? And we'll move on from there. The end of this footage just cuts off, though I'm not sure where the rest of the video went, but I'm just going to work on this, just moving it, and then having him look at it, and then just having him touch it with his nose if he's ready for that, and I'll just do that on both sides. So he's worried, his ears are flicking, but at least he's chewing there, so he's not, he could be worse, so that's good. There, he looked at it. Great. I'll take it away. And then the video is going to cut off, but that's the part of his session.